Ramble. Calling me out while I ramble. Trying to find this life like the candle. Feel locked up like my niggas up in things. Yeah. My thing ring. I mean my phone though. I mean it phone though. Woo. I'm just trying to get on, yo. And I'm trying to find the beat. I'm trying to find this rhythm. I'm trying to find the streets. They changing for the gentry. Simply still coming through till it's empty.
So my name is Asha. I'm a second year in Columbia College, and I'm a part of something called the Columbia Prison Divestment Campaign. At the very end of last semester, I obtained a list of Columbia's investments. On that list was the Corrections Corporation of America, which is the largest private prison company in the United States, and it was also the first private prison company in the United States, as well as G4S, which is the largest multinational security company in the world. And that was both surprising, but also presented an opportunity for us to organize around that. And so basically the private prison industry is companies that the government contracts to run, own, and operate prisons. And so private prison companies' main goal is profit. It's not justice or fairness or any type of investment in human dignity. It's making a profit. And when your profit comes out of housing people who are removed from society, right? The opportunities for cutting costs, for not treating people as well as they should be, and for influencing policies that are going to keep people locked up for longer periods of time are vast. And that's why it's an incredibly profitable industry. But it's also very corrupt. And so this is why we are asking Columbia to divest, to take its money out of these private prisons. I think one of the things is not talking about it, not caring, believing that we are removed from or not affecting or not affected by systems of mass incarceration, by assuming that our fellow Columbia students are not affected by these different systems in ways that we or certain people on this campus might not be. And I think that kind of silence around it, right, is a problem. I think there's a lot of conversation around like crime and safety that is isolated from structural violence, right? So when we talk about not wanting to go into certain neighborhoods or being thankful for like the police and public safety for keeping us safe as Columbia students, we need to keep in mind who's being protected by these systems, who's being targeted and not protected by these systems, and what exactly are we asking to be protected from? What is the root of violence? What is the root of crime? And who defines what crime is? Because largely, right, these private prison companies, who are huge actors, have had a huge influence in lobbying for many of the harsh legislation, harsh sentencing laws that have contributed to what we see as an 800% increase over the last few decades in the prison population in the United States. So there's certain people with certain interests defining what's called crime and creating the borders around certain people and certain spaces to keep that arbitrarily defined thing, crime or violence, out. But the root of all of that really is structural inequality.
Prison divestment, how you gonna get caught up in this mechanism and you nesting in the same shit that you sleep and eat in? That's why I'm thinking that my reason of living is freedom and justice. You can't touch this when it rusts this system that's above us. I'm trying to come up underground, breaking ripples, breaking stigmatics, breaking pragmatics. I'm coming through with aesthetics, not anesthetics. That's dope, I mean I said it. That's dope, I mean I said it.
It's important for us as Columbia students, right, to be held accountable for the ways that we contribute to the system, and I think divestment speaks to that. And it's important that we know that it is a strategy that we're using here because of our positioning. and that it's a part of both a broader prison divest movement that is trying to create a culture in which it's not socially acceptable to be invested in something like a prison, which is not okay, but also a part of a broader anti-mass incarceration movement, and people who are doing work using a number of strategies, coming from a number of positionings, and with a number of different perspectives. And so asking Colombia to divest from private prisons is not the end. It's not the end of my work, you know, it's not the end of the work of the people involved in this campaign, but it's asking an institution like Colombia to speak to the broader social world and what it is doing in that, how it is affecting all of these different power structures. And that's a political statement. And it's asking Colombia really to like put into practice the things that it says it believes in, right? Human dignity, human potential, equality, you know, like these different things.
Tell them what the feeling be. I'm chilling back with my CBD peeps. So don't reach unless you wanna get beats like a whale in jail or inhale. Not breathing even. I try to keep on keeping and keep it even like Steven. So you reach for 9 feet, oh, you just me eat hoes. Check my feet up. Oh, like selling drugs, been jamming. Like his name's been jamming. I've been slamming the beat since like 1998. Oh, I did hero eating all day.
So there are several things that students can do. Get involved with Prison Divest campaign, right? We're on Facebook, social media, whatever, look us up, sign our petition. Talk about these things in your classes with your friends. We need to take our money out. We can't be invested in this system because it's fundamentally corrupt, wrong, and not working for